Committee for September 23rd, Councilmember Zine chairing. And we have on the agenda a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6. Number 6. That one? Huh? Okay, number 6 has been withdrawn. So we're going to receive and file that. Anyone here for item number 6? All right, that solves that problem. So we have 5 left. Let's do number 1.
For item 1, you have a communication from the mayor relative to the reappointment of Mr. Frederick Harowitz to the Employee Relations Board for the term ending September 23rd, 2013.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, sir?
Doing well.
Great.
ERB. Reappointment. How long you been there?
Maybe 6 months, give or take 5.
It seems like we just appointed you.
We did.
what
I
happened?
think it's been maybe 4 or 5 months, something
Are
like
you
that.
like on probation or something?
We're all on probation, sir.
I mean, that was quick.
Yeah,
So what do you think so far? How many meetings you attended?
probably 5 or 6, once a month.
Challenge, exciting?
It is,
interesting,
yes, a
boring?
challenge, exciting and boring, yes.
Everything, huh?
No, it's a privilege to serve the party, sir.
It's an important, very, very important part of the city family. A lot of things go to the ERB. We're joined by Councilor Tony Cardenas. We're on item number 1, Mr. Horowitz, reappointment to the ERB. I remember interviewing you last time. We didn't have any negative, and it appears that you're still doing well. You're not going to be in council because you have another commitment.
Yeah, I have just a whole series of hearings scheduled, and I appreciate very much, sir, you speaking up for me at that time.
So I need to have some stuff to say about you. So you enjoy the position. You find it challenging, rewarding, except financially, you don't receive any compensation.
Almost all correct, yes.
Almost all of it. I've only done 3 so far.
Right.
Yeah, you've been a short time there, but you've obviously had an appetite for what it's about.
Right, well, Tom Roberts passed away, and that's what created the vacancy, so.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of turnover on that.
No, it's historically been a wonderful panel and filled with quality people.
Well, you do get paid for this, though, don't you?
We get a stipend, yes, a per diem of sorts. I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember what the amount is, but I'm sure Vicki'd be happy to tell you if you ask her.
Because I know that most of them don't receive any compensation at all, but I remember this one does. So do you find that the matters that come before the board are the departments being pessimistic or employees being mistreated?
I don't think I've seen enough cases yet to draw those kinds of conclusions. But my experience in the field, which is long, is typical where, in the most part, you have good labor relations, but at these boards, we tend to see the points of tension. And nobody's happy to be there when they're there.
Yeah.
So, but I haven't been able to extrapolate, induce any pattern. I just haven't been there long enough.
Okay.
But I will say it's professionally run, and the disputes are very professionally presented by both sides. I should say professionally administered panel, not run. That word doesn't mean much. And the disputants have been most courteous and professional in their presentations.
Do you have any police cases?
I think we had one involving a work assignment issue yesterday.
And then did you take it under submission?
No, it was, whatever issue we had was decided.
Colleague?
Yeah, You were in-house counsel for a national labor organization?
Airline Pilots Association, yes, from 1975 to 84. At the time, it represented most airline pilots in the country and also flight attendants, before the flight attendants broke away and established their own union.
Okay. And you were a corporate attorney as well?
Yes, then I went to work as HR director and corporate counsel for a small public company that owned various electronic job shops across the country. They manufactured hermetic connectors. And the corporate office was in Encino, and that's where I was based. And they had various job shops across the country, and I had HR responsibility for all those different units.
So for that particular corporation, you did their HR work as a lawyer?
Well, I was a corporate counsel and in-house HR director. I was the only lawyer in the organization, but as a public company, they had some pretty interesting SEC and IRS type issues that were beyond my ability to handle. And they went to outside counsel for that sort of thing. And after 5 years there, when I was about ready to make a decision, do I stay in that environment or move on, that's when I hung my shingle as an arbitrator.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You want to move this
Move the item.
matter?
Move it.
Mr. Horowitz?
Yep.
All right, we will represent you in council. We don't get a stipend, we just do it out of love for the job.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate your support very much. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to
Thank
see
you all.
again. Okay, number 2, please.
Item 2, you have a city administrative officer report as well as a report from the Board of Police Commissioners. And this has to do with an award from the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control for the ABC program and resolution authority for a police sergeant 2.
Police Sergeant 2, huh? Why don't we make it a captain's position? Oh, there is a captain, I'm sorry.
Captain's in charge of the whole thing.
I know. I saw you as I was glancing back and forth. Okay, this is $100,000 ABC. This is the program that used to be run by, I read it before.
Who retired, gentleman, McElroy?
Yeah, Metro, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the program he ran.
Yes, this is Sergeant Lee Garcia. He's one of the sergeants in charge of the section now, in addition to
Yeah, West
Stephen
Valley.
White.
Correct.
West Valley Vice.
Yes, sir.
Look at you now. Clean shaven, uniform. You look like a hoodlum out there.
I did at one time, sir.
I remember that.
He's just doing his job for the love of the job.
No, he did a good job. He was a sergeant at West Valley Vice. So all those places you closed down are now torn down. He did a good job out there.
That's great, thank you.
Cleaning up the valley. So is this position for you?
Yes, it is, sir.
Well, you did a good job. I can't deny you that. What do you think, Captain? You happy with him?
I'm very happy with him and Steve, yes.
And this captain is a very demanding captain. I remember you when you had traffic patches on,
Yes.
commanding the traffic division. No, it's a great thing. Doesn't cost us anything. We've been doing this for how many years now?
This is our 13th year, sir.
13th year? And we notice improvement with some of these establishments?
Yes, absolutely. Every year, we're closing down problem locations. Last year, in fact, we closed 2, one in the Valley and one in Hollenbeck Division.
In my district or somebody else's district?
Let me see, I think it may have been yours. Yes, it was in West Valley, El Coyote at 20903 Sherman Way.
I think we tore that down, too.
I believe so.
Well, there was a lot of problems there. They had a shooting. They had a lot of problems there.
Yes.
You probably worked that when you were out there.
I worked it many times, sir.
So you know what it's like. See how successful it is?
Yes, very
Yeah, that
successful.
whole area's gone through a positive transformation. Councilmember?
I just have one question. I'd like to see
You
more
don't
of
have to say
this.
anything yet, just
Well-
sometimes silence is.
I'd like to see more of this activity in the Northeast Valley. We have a lot of liquor licenses and a lot of cantinas, as I call them, and also some proprietors who, I'm just astonished sometimes at the things that they innocently say, well, that's not against the rules, is it? Holy smokes, what are you talking about? I mean, they just really don't understand how business needs to be done and how to respect the rules, and how, when you get an ABC license, you know, how many rules you have to follow, and, you know, all those kinds of things. how do you decide what areas you're going to be in?
We work on problems that are identified by the community, and also we provide some of these problem locations with training. In fact, I'm doing a Spanish STAR training session on October 17th out at Mission Police Station, and we're going to invite all the Spanish-speaking businesses to attend.
Okay. I remember this crew when I was in the State Assembly, and they were asking for us legislators to understand the program, which I think is great. So, maximize it, make the best of it. Move the item.
I would add that since 1996, ABC has closed more than 89 non-compliant outlets in Los Angeles, so when they don't want to comply, then they get shut down.
Correct.
And that's a very expensive venture for them to lose that license. Very good. Do you have anything to say? Smart man.
Where you excuse
Don't
me,
challenge the police, ever.
where you stationed out of?
I work out of Detective Support Vice Division, which is housed right here in Central Division.
You wear uniform all the time, or just?
No, sir, I mostly work undercover, and I still do work some of the problem bars out in the valley and wherever I'm needed.
Okay. There's one that we were able to close through a lot of litigation at Oxnard and
The Frisky Kitty? I'm well aware of that one, sir.
Hey, you're banned from talking about that
they're
place.
trying to come back under a new name. And we don't want to grant that license for obvious reasons.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So, carry on with the good work, Captain. Congratulations. You like this better than traffic?
I like them all. Everyone has its own challenges, and there's work to be done anywhere you go, so I enjoy every assignment.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
You got approval on that? We'll see you next year, because you come back every year. All right, let's go to number 3.
The Board of Deferred Compensation has submitted a report in response to your motion. This is relative to the status of investments and the financial condition of the city's deferred compensation plan.
Well, this motion was brought about after reading some of the reports and see what happened with Indy Mac, which I had money in Indy Mac. Fortunately, I got it out before the lines started to occur in front of the establishment. And now I see Washington Mutual's up for sale, and we have $2.8 billion with 39,496 participants, so almost $3 billion of hard-earned deferred comp money from our employees. And the concern I have is the safety and security for those dollars that people are investing for their retirement. So, and let me also say, today I heard from my chief of staff that LA County seems to have a different version and a view than the city of Los Angeles. And I want to make sure that we're on the same page to protect the deferred comp dollars for our city employees. So with that, you can take it away.
Council members, thank you very much. I'm proud to introduce Stephen Montagna, City of Los Angeles Deferred Compensation Plan, and Susan Dalton with Mercer Consulting, who's the consultant to the plan. My name is Eugene K. Canzano. I am the chair of the Deferred Compensation Board, and I'd like to, on behalf of the board and staff, thank you very much for your interest. Your concerns are shared by us. We are, many of us, plan participants ourselves, so we want to make sure.
You? I think most people are.
Yes.
You, Z-woman? I am. There you go. So she's not going to interject at all. She wants to protect her assets. I mean, we all have a financial interest in this. And,
Honestly, stay on
huh?
agenda.
Well, we'll deviate. If we don't deviate, you don't earn your keep. Because you got Pete there watching. Okay, I'm sorry. I interject now and then just because I'm the chair and I can do that.
I love it. I love it. Just as a recap of, before getting into the actual report itself, Washington Mutual, kind of up to date, has put itself up for auction, and they have been asked to do this by the regulating Office of Thrift, has asked them to do this, and prospective buyers include J.P. Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, HSBC Holdings, and Banco.
Banco? What's Banco?
Banco Santander, and they're another large bank that is interested in the possibility of acquiring Washington Mutual. so that their solvency would be
Is that an
elevated,
American-
of course.
Is that an American bank,
It's a Spanish bank.
Spanish bank? So they're located in Spain?
That's correct.
Well, how solid are they?
They're a pretty solid bank, but they are interested in expanding their presence in the U.S. And Washington Mutual has very substantial deposits, which they would be interested in.
Okay, okay.
And then outside of the buyout activity, the Washington Mutual assets, as you know, are FDIC insured up to $250,000, and over and above the $250,000, there's the state plan that is in place that we can go into more detail.
To what level?
All assets over and above $250,000.
What if you have like the Z one, $1 million in there?
That $750,000 is covered in addition to the FDIC of $250,000, excuse me.
So whatever you have in there is covered.
That is correct.
It's covered. Washington Mutual is required to put up collateral equal to 110% of the excess amount over and above the FDIC limits. And they place that collateral, which consists of treasuries and highly rated municipal bonds, with a third-party custodian, which is Union Bank of California in this case. And there are checks and balances to determine that the collateral levels are 110% of the excess, and that is checked weekly. Great West provides the excess balances to Washington Mutual, and they in turn ensure that the collateral is held at Union Bank.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's Treasury bills and AAA
Treasury bills and
rated
AAA
munis.
rated,
So
right.
it's the highest standard that they could possibly put as collateral. The Deferred Compensation Board has, about 2 months ago, proceeded with an RFP to find another, or to put the RFP out to see about another provider that would have the FDIC product. And as you're probably aware, in deferred compensation plans with governmental plans, only about 20% actually offer FDIC product. And we feel it's very important. We need our plan participants that want to sleep very soundly at night, that they have that product available to them. So we're committed to maintaining that product, and if it needs to be with another bank, we're ready to do that. Staff has checked with the city attorney, and if we do need to do anything on an emergency basis, it has been cleared to the city attorney's office that we can put an emergency contract in to get another FDIC insured provider to handle the interim until the RFP is let, or the contract is let from the RFP process, which, as we all know, takes a bit longer and isn't suited for emergency measures.
But we have, as I understand, 3 on the deferred comp plan that the city provides, the city offers. There's 3 different forms of investment.
We have the Stable Value Fund, which is not FDIC insured. We have Washington Mutual Liquid Account that is FDIC insured, and we have the Washington Mutual Certificates of Deposit, which are FDIC insured. And both those second 2 products are the ones that have insurance or have the protections all the way and above whatever the account balance is. It's just that FDIC stops at $250,000.
And we have people involved in a program where there's no insurance? That first one you mentioned?
Right. Well, most of the only about of the 2.8 of the 2.8 billion that's in the plan, 360 million of that is with Washington Mutual. That is FDIC insured. None of the other assets are FDIC insured, though. They are market investments. So that means if you know, or most of them would be market investments invested in mutual funds. So if the stock market goes down, you lose money. That's the way that markets work.
And then I thought we opened up a new one, Schwab or something?
Yes, we did. The brokerage window is another option within the plan. It allows participants who want to have more choices than are available through the core options to go into that window and get access to. They can get access to additional mutual fund choices.
And are those guaranteed insured?
No. If it's a mutual fund, meaning if it's invested in the bond market or the stock market, that's not insured.
But do they offer any insurance in the insured plans? Our new one?
The brokerage window, if the board did make a decision at their last meeting to expand the brokerage window to provide trading of additional products, and one of those additional products would provide an opportunity for members to purchase individual CDs through additional banking institutions that would be offered through the brokerage window. So that would be another outlet for people who are looking to, if they weren't happy with Washington Mutual but they wanted FDIC insurance, they would have that ability to get to it.
Okay. Go ahead, continue.
So, as Stephen had mentioned, so of the $2.8 billion of plan participants' money, $300 million is in the Washington Mutual FDIC-insured liquid account, and $60 million is in the Washington Mutual certificates of deposit. And the numbers in terms of plan participants, there are 9,425 people who have the liquid account and 1,420 people who have money in CDs. So it represents a large section of our membership believes that they should have some in an FDIC insured product.
And they have the choice, the option to invest how they wish. If they think the stock market's go up or down or whatever, the concern I have is that the institution that's holding those dollars, in this case, $2.8 billion, doesn't end up with something to say, well, you know what, we made a mistake and now you've got $100 left, which would send a lot of people ballistic. And I send them right to you, by the way.
Of course. That's what we're here for, Councilman.
Arrows is the same. We'll take care of it over here. But the concern I have with all the, you know, what's been going on in Congress right now with the foreclosures and Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, and this whole issue that people are concerned about, should I take my money out and put it under the mattress? Is it going to be safer there than the institution? There's a lot of fear, a lot of concern. And as the chair of the personnel committee, I said, wait a second, we need to make sure for our employees that this deferred comp, we do have protections, we do have safety. And if the bank somehow has a problem like Indy Mac or some of these other institutions that you've heard about, we have assurance through whatever process that we've done everything to safeguard those investments, because this is money that people aren't living on, money that they're saving for the golden years. And when the golden years come, if it's not there, they're obviously going to be very unhappy. I know our pension plan is something entirely different, but I'm concerned about the safety, the security. When you hear Washington Mutual up for sale, and then if it's sold, what happens? I don't know if you folks have gotten a lot of calls or not. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So what I'm trying to do is be proactive with it, and that's why we put this motion in back in, I got a copy of that here, July 23rd. July 23rd, we put this motion in because I saw the climate starting to change. And prior to that time, I think we've had deferred comp since 1984 or 80-something. It's never been an issue. It's become an issue of concern. If you're getting calls, I wanted to say, how can we bring it officially to the table? And then through whatever mechanism we can put out information to the city employees that it's safe and secure, it's checked, and the safeguards are there, so you don't have to rush out and move to another institution. And if it sells, then there's still sufficient assets to cover the investments, the $2.8 billion. My main concern is not how they invest, but whatever institution they're investing in, we as a city have a responsibility to our employees, since we limit how they can invest that, to make sure there's oversight. And today in council, we're talking about the foreclosures, we're talking about the federal government's responsibility, and how these loans were given out, which sometimes people question how they get a loan. All of a sudden, it's falling apart. My concern is that we're solid in what we're doing to protect our employees' deferred comp accounts. And that's why I need assurance that we're doing everything we can. And I hear from the county that they've taken an opposite position, which we need to rectify between what we're hearing and what the county's putting out.
I'm not sure what the different position is that they're taking.
That people would be unwise to move their assets out of Washington Mutual.
Would be wise to move them out of. Yeah.
I haven't seen it in writing. It's supposed to get a report from the county issued to their employees. And that's the concern I have, is if that's the case, we should be on the same page to protect our employees. If the county's viewing something differently, we need to somehow reconcile that.
Well, I don't think that we really, at this point, we are doing anything different than they are, because what the board is now doing is proceeding to find an option to to put a different institution in there other than Washington Mutual. Now, before that happens, because things are happening very, very rapidly here, it's quite possible that Washington Mutual could be sold and we would be dealing with a different entity. But if that doesn't happen, we are moving to, if necessary, then the board can replace Washington Mutual with a different provider. I believe it's my understanding that that's exactly what the county is doing as well.
And that's an issue when it goes up for sale. I looked into Wells Fargo, I looked into Bank of America. They're supposed to be solid institutions. I think Wells Fargo's got the AAA rating, the only one that has the AAA rating, which we have a fiduciary responsibility to assure that an institution is not going to be in jeopardy. And when you see an institution up for sale that has 700 branches, you start questioning, what are they doing, and where's it going to go? Again, IndyMac was the one that started it.
Yes.
IndyMac, all of a sudden, you saw in the news the lines of people frantic, and then if you had over 100,000, you're going to get half of what you had over 100,000.
Correct.
That frightens a lot of people, and we've seen this unraveling and this fear and this anxiety, and that's what I want to do, whatever we need to do to say we've got it safe, we've got it secure, don't worry about it. We've done oversight, which if the federal government had done what they're supposed to do, we probably wouldn't be in the boat we are now.
Right.
And I want to make sure that at least this city can stand tall to say, we've done everything. And since they are up for sale, and they've admitted they want to sell, that's a concern. And I don't want to see a rush to move it. But, if I were to move it, where am I going to move it? Right now, where am I going to move it?
But that's why we want to get a provider, an FDIC provider, that they have the option to move that to if they're uncomfortable with Washington Mutual, or if Washington Mutual were to encounter any problems, we would have another FDIC-insured product available to the members immediately.
But now we don't.
We only have one, but again, I found it amazing that only 20% of governmental plans even offer an FDIC product. And, I mean, beyond the scope of this, but, there are investment people that say, oh, you should not have your money in this safer, secure, if the risk-reward trade-off that, well, if you're going to be growing your money for a long time, blah, 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 blah. But still, the board feels very strongly that we need to have the absolute safest that is available under any circumstance, and we do provide that. And also, as Stephen mentioned, that the brokerage window that we had voted in a previous meeting that is coming online will give plan participants the option of obtaining FDIC-insured products through the brokerage window. And and in terms of, again, we're very pleased with your interest in it. And we too,
Go ahead, sorry.
I can speak for the board and for staff that we are incredibly interested in and assuring that we have the safest product, and that if we need to, on an emergency basis, get another institution in there, it's all backed by the full faith of the government to $250,000, and then above that, it's all collateralized through the state program.
And to no max.
To no max. But again, only if you're in these products, which represent 360 million of 2.8 billion.
So employees that want to check to see where they are, where do they call?
They can call the record keeper, which is Great West, can answer their questions. They can check online. We have more activity online than we do phone conversations. They have a lot of access, and that may be a segue at the end of one other thing I'd like to share with you.
All right, go ahead, proceed.
Okay, is there anything else that you'd like to add? Well, if I might, since you brought up, is there a materials or anything else, staff has brought great honor to the city of Los Angeles, and they won a national award for leadership in the materials that are on our website and our handout, and it's a theme of premier theme and with a Hollywood flair to it, so it's distinctively Los Angeles. And NAGDA is the National Association of Governmental Deferred Compensation Plans, and so I'm
They
very
have an
honored.
association like that?
They do.
Wow.
They do, and they specialize.
For everything.
Yeah, they do.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Staff did an incredible job.
Congratulations, wonderful.
So what we do is hold tight, keep investing, and make sure it's insured.
Correct.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Okay, so I want the CLA follow-up report would be appropriate in 60 days, since this is a fluid situation. We need to check with the county to see what they're putting out to their people. I don't know what entity within the county does that, but my chief of staff, Mr. Rupp, is supposed to be getting whatever document they have. And then if we can get a report back in 60 days from the top board, just to make sure that we keep this, and what we will do is put out to the union folks that we're monitoring this, keeping up with this. Maybe it'll reduce some of the calls you're getting from past employees. Because I can see how employees that have been around a while.
Making all the calls.
You make all the calls? You're making the calls.
I'm making the calls.
You got a military pension, a city pension. You got more pensions than most people.
No?
I only have one.
Yeah, two.
No, I'm gonna get one when I leave here. That'll be two. Then deferred comp fees. Any questions for you, Tom?
Nope.
Thank you for that. But I guess this was no surprise when this went through that somebody'd be inquiring as to the safety and security. Maybe you guys need to go to Washington and help square away the folks back there. Because they are scrambling. I love when they say Republicans and Democrats need to work together for the American people. Well, wake up. What have we been doing?
Good point.
For the record, Mr. Chair, do you want to continue the item in committee, or do you want to send it forward with the report back?
Yeah, send it forward.
Send it forward as a note and file and have a report back in 60 days.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And council members, thank you very much for your interest and for your motion. We're thrilled that you are looking into it because we're very dedicated to the program and from every aspect, and I appreciate your interest.
I appreciate your
Thank you.
dedication to it. Congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
And,
Well earned.
I'll sleep better at night tonight.
Good. Mission accomplished.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
You know, you could provide pizza one of these days. Wouldn't hurt.
Wait, what?
You could provide pizza one of these days. It wouldn't hurt.
60 days.
60 days, yeah.
60 days, be here.
We'll celebrate. Number 3, please.
Number 4?
What happened to 3?
That we just did number
That's the
three.
one you just did.
Then let's do number 3.
You're one step behind.
Okay, for item 4, you have a city administrative officer report as well as the Quality and Productivity Commission. And this is in response to your motion relative to staff support for the commission and goals and objectives for the fiscal year 2008-2009.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Were you in the other committee on this?
I was, AGE.
That's right. And we got another commissioner today, Mr. Brusack.
Correct.
Another commissioner. So we're getting up to the full staff.
There are 2 vacant seats at this point.
Who's the other appointment?
Councilman Parks has one and Councilman Weeser.
That
I
is
would-
like me.
Check their office. Make sure they get somebody on there. We're beefing it up. Let them know we get 2 people on. I know we got our. Okay, go ahead with your report, please.
Tyler Munhall with the CAO. The motion asked the CAO to report relative to providing a full-time dedicated support staff member for the Quality and Productivity Commission, as well as asking the Quality and Productivity Commission to present their goals and objectives for 2008. The CAO report provides a historical background on staffing for the commission, and the commission is currently receiving nearly full-time support from a senior administrative analyst, support also from a chief administrative analyst and clerical staff. No additional staff positions are recommended at this time for the commission, but I will note that the commission in their submittal for this supports the current staffing level, and the recommendation is to note and file the matter.
Okay. Something?
No question?
All right, we'll do it. Thank you for your help. And I think we'll see some good work going on. Number 5, please.
On item 5, you have motion, Parks Berry, requesting that the city attorney prepare an ordinance amending section of an administrative code to authorize voluntary payroll deductions enabling all current and retired city personnel to contribute to the Black Employees Association.
Anyone here for that? Pete, go up and plead the case.
Are you that hungry for comment? I'll call Swoop the dog.
Yeah.
The city clerk verifies their qualification and indicated that they qualify under the LA Administrative Code.
Okay, the retired city, current and retired. Who's in charge of that organization? I never heard of it.
This is a brand-new organization consisting of, obviously, Black employees of the City of Los Angeles. And the intent of this motion is to instruct the city attorney to prepare an ordinance that would allow the organization to qualify for a payroll deduction. Our office coordinated with the CAO and the city clerk's office to ensure that, first of all, they were certified as a qualified employee organization by the city clerk's office, which is the first step. So all of the appropriate steps have been taken prior to our office writing the motion. And so the matter before the committee is for the committee to instruct the city attorney to do the last step, which is to prepare the ordinance.
Any questions?
At what point in time do they determine whether or not the payroll system can actually handle another little added feature to our system that we're...
Unlimited now.
Going back into a little bit of history when I was in the CAO's office, that certainly was a concern several years ago, but with implementation of PACER, that did enable additional organizations to be included as part of the payroll deduction program. And I think, with, I think the CAO's office, was involved, in a working group to ensure that modifications are done as necessary in order to enhance the
So the capacity of
system.
modifications today is much better than it was a few years ago.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I understand that there's an unlimited number they can cross through the system.
Okay.
The Pete Echeverria.
No more questions for me.
I like that. Yeah, you get that. All right, so we will approve that matter. Thank you for your explanation.
Well, thank you for
We
the
did
excellent
6
job that
already?
you did in deferred comp, because I think we're all affected by that.
We are all affected.
Oh, okay.
Much expected by that. And we'll be hearing more from that as the days go on. But I was going to take it out and put it under my pillow.
Okay.
But I already have so much under my pillow. All right, that'll
All you get out of that is a stiff neck.
Yeah, I wait for Z to jump up and say, you can't say that, Councilman.